The US has criticized Israel's National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir's visit to Al-Aqsa mosque in Jerusalem and has said that the holy site should not be used for political purposes. The US released a statement saying that it is concerned by Ben-Gvir's visit, calling it an act of provocation and asking Israel and Palestine to respect the holy site's sanctity. The criticism comes a day after Ben-Gvir visited the Al-Aqsa mosque. Ben-Gvir visited the Temple Mount and declared that Israel was in charge.
לעלות להר הבית, המקום הכי חשוב לעם ישראל, צריך להגיד, השוטרים, הלוחמים עושים כאן עבודה נפלאה ושוב מוכיחים מי בעלי הבית בירושלים. כל האיומים של החמאס לא יעזרו, אנחנו בעלי הבית על ירושלים ועל ארץ ישראל כולה.
This move triggered criticism from the US as well as Palestine and Egypt. Palestinian official media warned that such acts will push the region into a religious war with unimaginable consequences that will affect everyone. In another related development, Israeli forces killed 3 Palestinian fighters overnight in the occupied West Bank. The Israeli army described them as terrorist suspects. In a statement, the Palestinian Health Ministry identified the 3 men killed in the Balata refugee camp in Nablus as Mohammed bin Zayun, who is 32, Fatih Abu Rizik, who is 30, and Abdullah Abdu Hamdan at 24. The Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigades and the armed wing of the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas's Fatah Party said in a statement that the 3 were among the group's fighters. As peace continues to be fragile, Egypt's foreign ministry pressed Israel to immediately stop the escalatory acts, which are raising tensions further. This comes days after Ben-Gvir and tens of thousands of Israeli nationalists marched through the old city of Jerusalem to celebrate Jerusalem Day. The march began in the western part of the city before passing into East Jerusalem and through the old city to the Western Wall. As the marchers arrived in the old city, mild skirmishes between Jewish and Palestinian protesters took place, and a few people were seen chanting "Death to Arabs" and waving racist banners. Now, the US condemned this racist incident and stated that it had unequivocally opposed racist language in any form. Amid these incidents and the heightened tensions, the Cairo broke a truce after a week of cross-border fighting between Israel and Gaza seems shaky. The week-long dispute arose after a Palestinian leader died in Israeli custody, and both sides exchanged fire, which killed 33 in Palestine and 2 in Israel. This contested site, known to Jews as the Temple Mount, the holiest in Judaism and the home to the ancient biblical temples, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, Islam's 3rd holiest site, is also on the same contested ground. Now, for more on this, we are being joined by our correspondent, Jody Cohen, live from Ra'anana. Hello to you, Jody. Now, why did Ben-Gvir feel it necessary to return to the Temple Mount, Al-Aqsa compound, particularly when his visit last time around sparked condemnation from across the Arab world and rockets fired into Israel?
Hi, Alison. So Ben-Gvir is Israel's national security minister, and he believes that the way to ensure Israel's security is through strength. So he would say that his visit to the Temple Mount Al-Aqsa compound not only fulfills his religious obligation to visit Judaism's holiest site, but also that it's a show of Israel's sovereignty over the site. So remember, Jordan had captured Jerusalem in the 1948 War of Independence after the UN voted to establish a Jewish and an Arab state, which the Arabs at the time rejected. Israel then got Jerusalem back from Jordan in 1967 in the Six-Day War. Now, Israel, as you talked about with Jerusalem Day, Israel celebrates Jerusalem returning to Israeli control. But at the time in 1967, they agreed with Jordan's Waqf that they could administer the Muslim affairs on the compound. That's the religious council there. They together agreed the status quo, which means that non-Muslims can visit the site, but within limitations. Now, after Ben-Gvir's last visit in January, Prime Minister Netanyahu said that he did not break the status quo, but we saw the Palestinians firing rockets following that visit. So far this time, we haven't seen rockets, and Ben-Gvir had tweeted that Hamas threats won't deter Israel.
Right. And Jody, talk to us about some of the reactions to this latest visit, both within Israel and internationally. It seems not everyone in Israel agrees with Ben-Gvir.
So Ben-Gvir would say that his visit this time showed that Israel has restored deterrence with the Israeli strikes on Islamic Jihad targets in response to Islamic Jihad rockets fired into Israel in recent weeks. Now, the Palestinian Authority and Jordan condemns the visit. Remember, Palestinian Authority President Abbas claimed at the UN last week that Israel has no connection to Jerusalem, which drew much criticism at the time. Israel and the United States, Israel's biggest ally, they didn't accuse Ben-Gvir specifically of breaking the status quo, but they did criticize him for what they said was politicizing the holy site. And as with all issues in Israel, there are multiple opinions. So the head of the opposition, Yair Lapid, said that Ben-Gvir's job is to calm things down, but instead he creates provocations, he said. Also, Moshe Gafni, the head of United Torah Judaism, which is one of the ultra-Orthodox parties actually in the coalition government, he's called on Prime Minister Netanyahu not to allow MPs to visit the site because the ultra-Orthodox believe that the area is just too holy to even walk on.
Jody, thank you very much for bringing us all the latest details coming out of Israel there.
Thanks, Alison.